Hello and welcome to the world of responsible AI governance. Are you a student eager to understand the future of ethical technology? Or an expert trying to align innovation with values? Or a senior leader seeking to future proof your organization? Then this journey is for you. In a world where artificial intelligence is deciding who gets a job, a loan, or even a life saving diagnosis, responsible AI is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's no longer just a conversation for academics or policy circles. Today, AI ethics is operational, regulatory, and reputational. It defines how organizations are trusted, how they perform, and whether they lead responsibly or fall behind. This video is a deep dive into the real world frameworks, the tools, and the principles that makes AI safe, fair, and beneficial. We'll explore how to embed ethics not as a afterthought but as a core design element, from data collection to model development, deployment, and decommissioning. As generative AI accelerates innovation, it also magnifies risk, misinformation, biases, opacity, and even regulatory gaps. That's why we need strong governance models and diverse teams, ethical oversight, and most of all, clear global cooperation. Responsible AI isn't just about building powerful systems. It's about building systems that we can trust. It's about shifting the question from can we build this to should we build this? And how do we build it right? In this video, we will uncover how leading frameworks, that's from EU AI Act to NIST AI Risk Management Framework, shape global governance. Why human rights, transparency, and fairness are the bedrock of AI accountability. And why every stakeholder, be it IT developer, or a policymaker, or a business leader, and citizens, can play a part in shaping ethical AI. So, whether you are just starting out or leading at the top, join me as we explore responsible AI governance. It's your strategic compass in the fourth industrial revolution that we are in today. Because the future of AI is not just about algorithms, it's about us. Namaskaram. This is your host, Savit Vittal Salian. Let's explore this beautiful world of AI and its governance. Part 2 of Responsible AI Governance. In part 1, we covered introduction, foundation, pillars, and perspective. We looked at different checklists that should help you plan your strategy around building a responsible AI governance framework. Do use the checklist as a reference and build on it based on your business market, location, and regulatory requirement. Moving forward, let's look at the next topic: responsible AI adoption, a life cycle approach. The first is design and development. It has three parts. Impact assessment is algorithmic impact assessment, example, diverse teams and inclusive design workshop. Third is ethical foresight practice, which is actually scenario analysis. In simple language, what does it mean? It means this pillar is about building AI systems the right way from the very beginning, with ethics, fairness, safety, and human needs in mind. It's like building a house. The thought process is, if the foundation is weak or unfair, the whole house can cause harm later. Here you can replace house as an AI system. So that's the thought process. Responsible design and development means putting responsibility into the code, the data, and decisions as the AI is being built, and not after it was launched. Now, why does it matter? Many AI problems like biases, privacy leaks, or harmful decisions starts in the design phase. When wrong data is used, teams forget to test for fairness. No one thinks about how people will be affected. That is, if AI is built without responsibilities in mind, it becomes much harder to fix later. It's about build ethical thinking into every stage of the AI design process. The thought process here should be, have we thought about fairness, safety, and privacy before writing the any code? That's ethic by design. It also means include people from different genders, race, fields, and experience. The thought process in this should be, are the right voices at the table while designing this AI? This is inclusive and diverse design team aspect. The next is design the AI for the people who will use it, not just what engineer think is best. The thought process around this should be, will this tool be easy, safe, and fair for real users? The next is use high quality, representative, and unbiased data. Clean and test the data before feeding it into the model. The thought process around this should be, is our training data accurate, diverse, and ethically sourced? The next is choose models that can be explained and audited, not just the most complex one. The thought process when you are in this phase is, can we explain why the AI made this decision if someone asks? This is where you are in identifying a transparent model selection. The next is test the model using different scenarios and across different user group. The thought process around this should be, does it treat everyone fairly and avoid harmful outcome? The next is record every decision. what data was used, who approved the design, how the model really works. The thought process at this stage should be, can we go back and understand how and why this AI was built in the first place? The next is design in loops, not once and done. Take feedback from real users and update regularly. The thought process in this should be, are we learning from real world use and making our AI better? That's iterative design and feedback. Simple analogy, think of building AI like planting a tree. You need a good soil, a healthy seed, and a regular care. Here, soil is the data, seed is the model design, care is testing and updating. Now, if you ignore it at the start, it might grow crooked or worse, fall and cause damage. Responsible AI starts in the design room, not the courtroom. To help understand this better, let us look at a checklist for our reference. It starts off by incorporating ethical thinking and risk assessment from the start. Then form diverse, inclusive, and interdisciplinary design team. The next is to ensure the AI system is built around real user need and use cases, followed by using clean, diverse, and representative data for training and testing. Validate the data quality and document data source and its permissions. Select transparent and auditable AI model when possible. Test AI systems for biases, fairness, accuracy, and safety across your group. Maintain full documentation of design decisions, model version, and stakeholders. Create feedback loops to continuously improve the AI post deployment. The next is data collection and preparation. We have three areas here: bias detection in data pipelines, consent and data governance policies, synthetic data generation and validation. Now, what does it mean? This pillar is about how we collect, clean, organize, and prepare data before using it to train the AI system. Since AI learns from data, bad data is equal to bad learning. So we must make sure to ensure, and the thought process should be, is our data accurate? More importantly, fair, legal, and ready for a responsible AI training. Now, why does it matter? Well, if data is biased, AI becomes biased. If the data is incomplete, AI makes wrong predictions. The data is stolen or illegal, AI may break the law. Most AI problems like discrimination, misinformation, or privacy breaches starts from poor quality or poorly handled data. To further simplify, collect only those data with proper permission. Avoid scraping or using sensitive data without rules. The thought process should be, did people agree to share this data for AI use? That's collecting data ethically. The next is use data that reflects all type of people, situations, and context. The thought process at this part should be, does our data cover different gender, age, race, religion, and languages. This is ensuring diversity and equal representation. The next is to clean the data that contain stereotypes, errors, or unfair patterns. The thought process at this stage should be, have we checked the data for hidden biases or prejudice? The next is, ensure data is accurate, up to date, and relevant. Remove duplicates, errors, or missing values. The thought process at this stage should be, can we trust this data to teach the AI the right things? Next is record where the data came from, what it contains, and how it's used. The thought process at this stage should be, can we track or trace back how and why this data was used in our AI? Next is, do not collect more than what's needed. Use anonymization or masking for personal data. The thought process here should be, are we protecting users' identity and their private information? This is the space to respect data privacy. Hence, this thought process is required. The next aspect is to make sure human labeled data is reviewed and consistent. Avoid labels that reflect social or political biases. The thought process around this should be, did real people label this data carefully and without biases? A simple analogy at this stage is, think of AI like baking a cake. Data is the ingredient. If the flour is spoiled or the sugar is missing, you can't make a good cake. So, for responsible AI, we must start with clean, fair, and legal ingredient, which is the data. Now, let's look at a checklist for this space. It starts off by obtaining informed consent for data collection and follow ethical guidelines. The next is ensuring data is diverse and representative of different groups and context. Clean the data to remove errors, biases, or harmful stereotypes. Verify the accuracy, completeness, and freshness of the data. Document data sources, collection methods, and intended usage. Apply anonymization or masking to protect personal or sensitive information. Label data carefully using clear guidelines and multiple human reviewers if possible. Avoid using scrapped or unverified data without validation or rights clearance. Ensure compliance with data protection law, example the GDPR or DPDP Act. As a next step, you can pause the screen, take a screenshot that can help you build your checklist. The next aspect here is model training and validation. There are three distinct areas: bias audits, explainability reports, validation across demographic groups, and ethical thresholds for deployment. In simple language, it means this pillar is about how we teach AI using data and then check if it has learned correctly. Think of it like teaching a student. Training is the study phase and validation is the test phase. The goal is to make sure the AI system is not only smart but also fair, safe, and reliable before it's used in real world. Why it matters? Well, if model training is careless, AI may learn biased patterns from data. It may memorize instead of understanding. It may fail in real world situation it wasn't trained for. Now, responsible AI training ensures that the model is accurate but not unfair. It is flexible but not unpredictable. The model is powerful but transparent. So, don't just use large data. The objective is to use good and fair data. The thought process at this stage should be, is the data teaching the model the right lessons? The next is use technique to make sure the model doesn't favor one group or memorizes the data. The thought process here should be, is the model generalizing well? It's not about just memorizing the pattern. The next is to test how the model performs for different demographics, which is gender, race, age, etc. The thought process at this stage should be, does the AI work equally well for everyone? The next is pick a model that can be explained or uses explainability tools. The thought process at this stage should be, can we tell why AI made a certain prediction? The next step is try unusual, unexpected, or borderline cases to see how the model responds. Now, the thought process at this stage should be, is the AI safe and stable even in weird scenarios? This is all about performing a robust testing on the AI. The next step is to track the model's accuracy, fairness, and errors at every stage. The thought process here should be, are we monitoring how the AI behaves during and after the training? The last one is in this is, let's experts check or audit the model's training and its outcome. The thought process at this stage should be, did a human review the AI's learning before it goes live? This is a stage wherein we include the human aspect, the human review. A simple analogy, imagine training a pilot. You don't just teach him with when there is clear sky. You train for bad weathers too. You also test them before letting them fly solo. Training is the same in AI. Train is responsible. Train it responsibly, test it thoroughly. So, training AI is the same. Train it responsibly and test it thoroughly. Let's understand it in a sequence through a checklist. Use clean, balanced and representative data for the training model. Apply bias mitigation techniques during training to prevent unfair outcome. Avoid overfitting by validating the model or unseen data and using regularization. Test the model's performance across different demographic groups. Utilize explainable models or integrate tools like the shape and the line for complex models. Conduct robustness testing with edge cases and adversarial input. Log accuracy, precision, recall fairness metrics, and error rates consistently. Ensure all model training steps and decisions are well documented. Include a human in the loop to review critical predictions or system behavior. Verify compliance with regulatory standards for model evaluation and validation. You can pause the screen, take a screenshot, then we can move forward. The next aspect is deployment and monitoring. There are three distinct areas. One is real-time monitoring for drift, biases, and fairness, user feedback and compliant channels, recertification of high-risk AI systems. In simple language, it means this pillar is about what happens after the AI is launched, when it starts interacting with users, making decisions, or running on its own. Just like launching a new product or service, AI needs close monitoring after it goes live to make sure it continues to work safely, fairly, and effectively. The thought process at this stage should be, are we watching the AI closely enough after it's out in the real world? Why it matters? Well, even if the AI is trained well, it can behave differently in real life situations. User might misuse it. It might drift over time and start making poor decisions. Without proper monitoring, you won't catch mistakes or harm early on. You won't know if the AI is being used fairly. You can't prove the AI is compliant or safe. If to explain it more simplified, it is start with a small, limited release before full rollout, which is the thought process here should be, are we testing the AI with a few users before scaling up? This is controlled and phased deployment. Define what AI is allowed to do and what it is not. The thought process here should be, does the AI know its limit? We are setting clear usage boundaries. The next is keep an eye on how the AI is performing in real world. Here the thought process should be, is it still accurate, fair, still safe over the time? This is monitoring and performance. Record what the AI does and how users interact with it. The thought process here should be, are we capturing logs that shows the AI's decision trail? So, are we capturing the logs that shows the AI's decision trail? This is critical for investigation, for review, for the regulators. This is what they will come and look at first when they suspect. Next is watch out for changes in data, user behavior, or module outputs. The thought process here is the AI changing or breaking without us noticing? The idea here is to detect drift or failures. The next is use user feedbacks to fix issues, retrain models, and improve the system. The thought process here should be, are we learning and updating the AI regularly? The next step is create a way to pause, override, or report problems. Again, the thought process here is, what happens if the AI goes wrong? Can we stop it fast enough? That's the escalation mechanism. The next is keep records and reports to show regulators or auditors. The thought process here should be, can we prove our AI is behaving responsibly post deployment? This is critical from compliance and audit readiness perspective. A simple analogy in this case would be, think of AI like a self driving car. You don't just build it and walk away. You monitor the road, you update the software, you log every ride, and jump in if it misbehaves. Responsible AI needs continuous supervision even after launch. So to understand it a little better and so that you can run with this, we'll go through the checklist. So it starts off with conducting a phased deployment, starting with controlled environment or a pilot user. Establish clear boundaries and rules for AI systems behavior. Set up real-time monitoring for performance, biases and anomalies. Log all AI decisions and user interactions for traceability. Continuously evaluate model accuracy, fairness, and relevance post deployment. Implement drift detection tools to catch unexpected behavior or data changes. Gather and integrate user feedback for system improvements. Enable escalation paths for error reporting, overrides, or shutdown when needed. Maintain audit logs and compliance documents for regulators. Plan regular model reviews, updates, and revalidations. The next one is decommissioning or sunsetting. It has three distinct areas: responsible AI retirement practices, archiving for future audits and investigations. Next, knowledge transfer and lessons learned. Now, what does it mean? Well, this pillar is about responsibly shutting down, retiring, or replacing an AI system when it's no longer needed or it becomes outdated or poses a risk. Just like you retire old softwares, machines, or systems, AI tools also needs a safe and planned exit. The thought process here should be, if we turn off this AI, are we doing it safely, legally, and without harm to users or the business? Why does it matter? Well, AI that isn't properly shut down can leave behind sensitive data, can cause confusion if users don't know it's no longer active, can lead to compliance issue if not archived or documented. If AI isn't properly shut down, it can be reused improperly without oversight. Responsible AI doesn't end at deployment, it includes responsible retirement too. To simplify it further, plan from start. When will we retire this AI? Under what condition? The thought process should be, do we know when it's time to turn off the AI? That is defining an exit criteria early on in the game. Next is inform users, clients, and teams when the AI will be retiring. The thought process should be, has everyone affected been informed and that AI is going away? The next is remove or anonymize any sensitive data the AI used or generated. The thought process here should be, are we protecting all private and critical information during shutdown? The next is record why the system was decommissioned, who approved it, and what was done. The thought process at this stage should be, can we show proof that we shut down the AI responsibly? Next step is to make sure no other system or services are still relying on the retired AI. The thought process here should be, will something break because we turned this off? The next step is turn off interfaces, APIs, dashboards, or models to avoid unauthorized use. The important thought process should be, is the AI really gone? Or can someone still use it? Next is review if users were affected, any errors occurred, or business continuity was disrupted. The thought process should be, did anything go wrong because of the AI's removal? This is evaluating the impact. The next step is, if a new AI is replacing the old one, manage the transition responsibly. The important thought process should be, are we smoothly switching an old AI to a new AI? Simple analogy, think of it like retiring an old airplane. You don't just park it and walk away. You notify the staff, protect passenger data, remove fuel, record the shutdown, and decide what replaces it. Responsible AI means planning for its final day, not just its first. To get more clarity, let's look at a checklist that should help build your. It starts off with defining decommissioning criteria at the start of the AI lifecycle. It's about notifying all stakeholders about the retirement timelines and the reasons. Securely archive, anonymize, or delete sensitive data used or produced by the AI. Document the rationale, process, approvals, and action taken during decommissioning. Check out dependent system or service and manage their migration or updates. Disable access to models, APIs, dashboards, or interface linked to the AI systems. Evaluate the operational and user impact of decommissioning. Communicate final outcome to stakeholders and record lessons learned. Ensure compliance with data retention and privacy regulations during shutdown. And last, plan and document transition strategy if AI is being replaced. I hope this checklist helps you in your strategy for decommissioning or sunsetting. Challenges in implementing responsible AI governance. The first is ambiguity in ethical norms. There are two aspects here. Cultural diversity creates differing interpretation of fairness. Second, lack of universal agreement on AI moral frameworks. In simple language, what it means is this challenge is about how different people, culture, and organization don't always agree on what is ethical or right when building or using AI. The thought process is what one group sees as fair, another might see as biased. What one country allows, another may ban. So there is no single universal definition of what is ethical in AI. That creates confusion and inconsistency. Why it's a problem? Well, if teams do not agree on core values, they may build AI systems with hidden biases or injustice. Companies may claim to follow ethics, but their definition may be too vague or self serving. Without a common ethical language, it's hard to regulate, govern, or audit AI systems effectively. Example, in some region, data privacy is a human right. In others, surveillance is used widely for safety or control. So, what's ethical AI in one country may be unacceptable AI in another. Words like fairness, biases, accountability, or harm may mean different thing to developer, to a lawyer, to a user, or to a policymaker. Ethical principles like do no harm or beneficence sounds good, but they aren't always clearly enforceable like legal rules. This makes it harder to build technical tools or governance systems that truly reflect ethics. Companies may define ethics in a way that supports business goals, not necessarily societal good. There may be conflict of interest between ethics and profits. A simple analogy, imagine organizing a football match where each team brings a different rule books. One allows handballs, another doesn't. One says 45 minutes per half, the other says 30. The result? The game will fall apart unless everyone agrees on the rules. That's the issue with ethical ambiguity in AI. So, how to tackle it? Well, create multi stakeholder ethical board with diverse views or adopt globally accepted principles like those from UNESCO, OECD, or NIST. Translate board ethics into concrete, testable policies. Educate team on cultural sensitivity and context aware design. Let's try to understand this through the checklist. Maybe that will help us get a direction. Start with identifying and documenting difference in ethical values across stakeholders and regions. Next, facilitate an open discussion to align on shared ethical principles and interpretations. Refer to International AI Ethics Framework for guidance. Translate abstract ethical values into specific, measurable criteria. Develop organization wide ethical guidelines and make them transparent. Create diverse ethics board or review groups with varied cultural and professional perspective. Regularly review ethical assumptions with internal and external stakeholders. Educate developmental and governance team on ethical pluralism and context awareness. Avoid overly vague or symbolic ethics statement without enforcement mechanism. Next is integrate ethical checks into technical and governance decision workflows. The next is technology policy gaps. It has two aspects. Regulation often lags behind fast paced AI development. Second, AI systems with emergent behavior challenges traditional laws. What does it mean? The technology policy gap is the mismatch between how fast AI technology grows and how slowly laws, regulations, and policies catch up. Technology runs at the speed of light, policy walks. This gap creates confusion, loopholes, and risk because we don't have clear rules for many things AI can do now. So, why is it a problem? Well, developer may build powerful tools without any legal guidance. Policymaker may try to regulate AI without fully understanding the tech. Companies are unsure which laws to follow or whether they are even breaking them. This slows down responsible adoption and opens doors to harmful or unfair AI systems. Example of this challenge, if you look at, first is facial recognition. Well, tech exists to scan faces in seconds, but many places have no laws or conflicting laws about where and how it can be used. Let's look at generative AI, ChatGPT, deepfakes. These tools are new and powerful, but government haven't agreed yet on what's allowed, what's safe, what's ethical. Cross-border AI, an AI model here built in US, might be used in India or Europe. In this case, which country's law apply? There is no global AI code or common standards as yet. While it's evolving, agreed, and countries are adopting the best one in the market at this stage, but it is still uneven. What causes this gap? Well, policymakers often lack technical expertise. Well, this is changing with experts coming in, but still there is a gap at this point of time. AI technologies evolve faster than laws can be debated or passed. Do note, laws need to be debated, agreed on before it gets approved, and it's a process, a very long process. A lot of pros and cons has to be thought through. Regulations are often reactive, not proactive. And companies exploit gray areas to move fast without clear accountability. Simple analogy, imagine building flying cars. Before traffic law exists for the sky, no rules for lanes, no safety checks, no speed limit. It can lead to chaos even if the tech works. So, how do we tackle it? Well, involve technical experts in policy making, which is happening as we speak. Yes, some countries are already fully onboarded, many are catching up. Eventually, everyone has to. Next is create agile and adaptive laws that evolves with tech. Support regulatory sandboxes for safe experimentation. Encourage international cooperation for consistent global AI standards. Foster public private collaboration between tech leaders and lawmakers. Let's now look at through a checklist. It starts with identifying areas where current laws do not cover emerging AI technologies. Next is to engage technical experts in policy making and legislative processes, followed by developing a flexible, adaptive regulatory framework that evolves with technologies. Promote public private partnership to align innovation with regulations. Establish regulatory sandbox to safely test and validate new AI applications. Create interdisciplinary task force to bridge gaps between developers and regulators. Support global cooperation for harmonized international AI standards. Encourage transparency in AI development to support policy formulation. Educate policymakers on core AI concepts and future trends. Ensure AI policies are practical, enforceable, and grounded in real world cases. Next is resource constraint. There are two aspects here. SME may lack the budget or expertise to implement full governance. They might need to open for open source tool and collaborative frameworks. What does it mean? Well, this challenge is about lack of money, time, people, or tools needed to properly design, build, test, and monitor responsible AI systems. The thought process is we know what's right, but we don't always have the budget or people to do it right. That's the situation that we will be in, or we are in many cases, or most cases. So, why it's a problem? Well, small companies or underfunded team may skip critical safety or ethics checks. Public sector organization may not have the tech skills or tools to manage AI risk. Even big companies may prioritize speed to market over safe AI practices. As a result, AI may go live with biased model, weak data control, no explainability, and no monitoring plans. Well, where do these constraints show up? Well, ethical AI needs experts in tech, law, ethics, design, but many teams only have developers. Governance activities like fairness testing, documentation, or audit trail cost time and money. Without a clear return on investment, leaders may skip them. That's the budget pressure we have. Teams lack access to tools that tests for biases, explain AI, or log decisions. Even open source tools need expertise to use them effectively. So that's a tooling gap perspective. Leaders push for innovation, customer features, and profit. In this, responsible AI get left behind. This is a case of competing priorities. Simple analogy, imagine building a hospital. You know you need emergency exit, fire drills, and hygiene protocols. But if you run out of money halfway, you may skip the safety part. That's how AI projects often treat responsible governance. Essential but under resourced. So, how do you tackle it? Well, start with a risk based approach. Focus limited resource where AI can cause the most harm. Use pre-built tools and checklists instead of building everything from scratch. Train cross-functional teams so everyone shares responsibility. Seek external partnership, whether it's the academia, NGOs, public toolkits. Build a business case showing that trust, fairness, and compliance reduce long term cost. Let's go through the checklist for this aspect. First, assess available resources, funding, staff, tools for responsible AI initiative. Prioritize the AI governance based on the risk impact and regulatory exposure. Allocate budget for fairness testing, bias audit, and ethical reviews. Provide training for staff in AI ethics, compliance, and risk management. Leverage open source tool for explainability, bias detection, and logging. Build cross functional teams to reduce reliance on specialized roles. Partner with academic institutions, NGOs, or startups for shared resources. Create usable templates, policies, and checklists to reduce the workload. Develop a business case for responsible AI investment based on risk mitigation. Continuously monitor and adjust resources allocation as AI projects evolve. The next aspect is talent and awareness. So there are two parts here: shortage of AI ethics professional, limited training on responsible AI in curriculum and industries. What does it mean? Well, this challenge is about lack of people with the right knowledge, skills, and awareness to build and manage AI systems responsibly. You can't govern what you don't understand, right? Many organizations today have AI developers but no ethics or governance expert. They have leaders who approve AI projects but don't know the risk. They want to do the right thing but don't know how. Why it's a problem? Well, responsible AI is not just a technical task. It requires people who understand ethics, law and policies, risk management, human centered design, social impact. If the skills are missing, AI system may cause harm unknowingly. Companies may fail audits or face public backlashes. Good AI intention never turn into action. Well, where do these gaps show up? Well, in AI teams, developers may be great at building models but not trained in fairness or transparency. It shows up in executives and decision makers, wherein leadership may not fully understand AI governance, leading to rushed or risky decisions. Policy and compliance staff, wherein legal and compliance team may struggle with interpreting AI risk. General workforce also get impacted when people using AI systems, which could be HR, marketing, operation, may not know when something goes wrong. In simple analogy, Imagine a hospital without a doctor who understands patient ethics, nurse who knows safety rules, admin who knows rights, patient rights. Even with the best tool, it's a recipe for harm. The same goes for AI. So, how do you tackle it? Well, you can start with training AI teams on ethic, explainability, fairness, and law. Educate executives and board on AI risk and responsibilities. Create cross functional learning programs across departments. Hire or consult AI governance experts, ethicists, and social scientists. Foster a culture of ethical reflection and questioning AI outcome. Run internal awareness campaign on responsible AI. Let's now look at from a checklist perspective. Start off by assessing the current team's capability in AI ethics, governance, and risk management. Then provide training for developers on fairness, transparency, and responsible model design. Educate executives and decision makers on AI risk, compliance, and accountability. Offer workshops and simulations on real world AI failures and ethical dilemma. Include legal, policy, and human rights experts in AI design and review process. Promote cross functional collaboration between technical and non technical teams. Build a partnership with universities or NGOs to access AI governance expertise. Launch internal awareness campaign on responsible AI principles and practices. Create internal champions or ambassadors for responsible AI. Last is develop a knowledge base or resource hub on AI governance tools, cases, and laws. I hope this checklist helps you with a better perspective. Impact grounded adoption of AI. Well, there are few aspects on this, starting off with metrics for impact. There are three: social impact assessment, environmental footprints of AI systems or green AI, economic inclusions, which is about job augmentation versus job displacement. In simple language, what it means is metric for impact is about measuring how AI affects people, business, and society, not just how accurate or fast it is. It asks, is this AI making a meaningful, positive difference in the real world? Responsible AI adoption isn't just about what AI can do, but what it does and how we know it's doing it well. So, why it's important? Well, many AI teams measure accuracy, speed, efficiency, but they forget to measure trust, fairness, social good, transparency, and user well being. Without impact metrics, we can't tell if the AI is helping or harming, who benefits, and who gets left behind. If we are achieving our ethical and business goal. Without a metrics, we can't tell that. So, what are the different type of metrics to use? The first, under social impact metrics, it's about who is helped, who is hurt by the AI, are underserved communities being supported. Example, has the AI improved access to loans for women or rural populations? Does the AI treat all groups fairly? Are there outcome gaps by race, gender, or income? Example, are rejection rates equal for similar applicants across different backgrounds? So that's from fairness and equity metrics perspective. Next is, do users understand and trust the AI? Are explanations clear and helpful? Example, what percentage of users find the AI decisions understandable in a survey? So that's about trust and transparency metrics. From an ethical alignment perspective, the question is, does the AI follow stated values or principles? Or, or are decisions reviewed ethically? Example, was the AI used within its approved boundaries? When it comes to user experience metrics, the question is, are people satisfied with the AI output? Is it improving their experience? Or are they adding any frustration? Example, the net promoter score or task success rate with the AI tool. From an environmental and economic metrics perspective, is the AI energy efficient? Is it delivering the return on investment or just complexity? Example, is the model's carbon footprint acceptable? Is the AI saving or wasting resources? A simple analogy, imagine launching a public bus service. You don't just measure it if the bus runs on time. You ask, are people using them? Are they reaching the poor neighborhoods? Are they reducing pollutions? AI should be measured the same way for real world benefit, not just technical success. Let's try to understand this through a checklist as to how to go about measuring it. What's the steps? First, define what positive impact means for your AI use case. Example, fairness, access, efficiency. Identify user groups and communities affected by the AI system. Track social outcomes such as inclusions, accessibility, or service improvement. Measure fairness metrics across different demographic groups. Collect user feedbacks on trust, satisfaction, and perceived fairness of AI decisions. Monitor transparency metrics such as explainability ratings or model interpretivity scores. Ensure AI usage aligns with ethical and organizations' value. Measure energy consumption or environmental impact of model training and usage. Evaluate cost savings, return on investment, or other business value metrics along with social outcome. Create regular impact assessment reports for internal or public accountability. Let's look at the next one, which is success stories. In healthcare, Artificial intelligence for early detection of diseases, governed under strict clinical validation and HITL, human in the loop. Financial services, fair lending models with bias audits. Educational, personalized learning systems with adaptive feedback and privacy guarantees. These are some areas of success, that early areas of success that we have seen. The next is on global collaboration and future roadmaps. Let's try to understand it. The first aspect is international initiatives. We have the OECD AI principle, Global Partnership on AI, UNESCO's AI ethics framework. Now, what does that mean? Well, international initiative refers to efforts by countries and global organizations to come together and create common rules, principles, and cooperation models for using AI responsibly across borders. AI is used everywhere, so the rule should be global, not just local. So why it's important? Well, AI system often collect data across countries, affect people from different cultures, are built in one country and used in another. Without international collaboration, we'll end up with conflicting laws, gaps in regulations, unfair or unsafe systems moving freely. This could happen without an international collaboration in place. Let's look at some of the global initiatives in a simple language, starting off with the OECD AI principle. This is agreed by over 40 countries. It focuses on safety, fairness, transparency, and human centered values. And it sets a broad ethical foundation. The UNESCO AI ethics framework. Well, it's a global human right based guidelines for AI use. It promotes diversity, data governance, and peace. It emphasizes inclusive and sustainable AI. The EU AI Act, the world's first major law to regulate AI risk. It classifies AI systems by risk levels. It aims to stop harmful AI while encouraging innovation. Anyone interested in the EU AI Act can refer to my other videos on this subject. It has quite a few series within it. So, anyone wants to go deeper can refer to those. Moving forward, the NIST AI risk management framework. It focuses on building trustworthy AI, helps organizations measure and reduce the AI risk. It's voluntary but detailed and practical. From a global partnership on AI or GPAI, over 25 countries had adopted it, including India, EU, US, UK, Canada, Japan. Shares research, policy advice, and ethical tools. It promotes shared learning and coordination. India's DPDP Act Plus AI governance push. India's DPDP, which is Data Protection Law, supports ethical data use. India is also joining the global AI discussion through GPAI, G20, and Policy Roundtable. Simple analogy. Imagine countries trying to fight climate change individually. It doesn't work. Why? Because pollution crosses borders. AI is the same. It impacts the world. So we need global rules, shared principles, and united actions. So, how does it help? Well, it helps build trust in cross border AI systems. It promotes responsible innovation without duplication. It avoids regulatory gaps and legal conflicts. Shares tools, research, and lesson learned globally. It helps set the stage for global ethical AI standards. Let's now try to look at from a checklist perspective. It starts with stay informed on major global AI framework. The next is ensuring internal AI policies align with the international ethical principles. Participate in or monitor output from global groups like GPAI or the UN. Collaborate with international partners on AI research and best practices. Adapt AI risk assessment to reflect international compliance requirements. Develop multilingual and culturally aware AI systems for global use. Tracking evolving AI laws and treaties in major regions helps. Evaluate cross-border data and model transfer risk under international laws. Use global case studies to train teams on what responsible AI governance looks like. Advocate for shared standards and accountability mechanism in international forums. Next is path forward. There are four aspects here. First is establishing the RAI standards and certification, that is responsible AI standards and certification. Creating public private governance alliance, fostering AI diplomacy and regulatory harmonization. And last is embedding responsible AI into the national digital agenda. Now, what does that mean? In simple language, path forward is about creating a clear, shared, and practical plan to ensure that AI is built and used responsibly. Not just today, but also in the future. It's not about where AI is now, but where we want it to go and how we get there safely and together. This involves shaping long term strategies, building trust, and making sure that everyone, which includes the government, the companies, the researchers, and community, move in the right direction. So, why it is important? Well, AI is evolving fast. If you don't have a roadmap, we risk building a future full of biases, surveillance, and inequality. If you don't have a roadmap, countries and companies might compete without ethics. People might lose trust in technology altogether. The path forward helps us to align on values and vision. It helps us to set realistic goals and responsibilities. It helps us to encourage global teamwork, not just national silos. So, what does the path forward include, if that's the question in mind? Well, or to start with, agree on universal principles like human rights, fairness, and transparency. Promote international dialogues to avoid conflicting AI rules. So that's building the global consensus. Next is develop a clear framework, toolkits, and audit methods. Support organizations to embed responsible AI in daily work. That's creating a practical governance tool. Next is ensuring AI works for everyone, not just wealthy or tech savvy people. Promote local language models, culturally aware systems, and inclusive design. The idea is the message is to invest in inclusive AI. Bring together governments, companies, civil societies, academics, and the public. Encourage co creation of policies and ethical practices. This is about fostering multi stakeholder collaborations. The next is allow safe experimentation while managing risk. Use regulatory sandbox and impact assessment to guide responsible scaling. This is about encouraging innovation with guardrails. Think about future challenges like superintelligence, autonomy, and AI in war. Build resilient and flexible governance model that can evolve. This is about planning for a long-term AI governance. A simple analogy in this case is imagine planning for a smart city. You need architect, you need safety codes, traffic rules, public inputs, and emergency plans. You don't build it overnight, but step by step with a shared blueprint. Responsible AI needs the same vision, planning, and teamwork to shape a better tomorrow. Let's now look at it from a checklist perspective. How do you go about it? How do you navigate? Well, first, establish a clear long term vision for responsible AI at national and organizational level. Second, align your internal strategies with the global AI ethics and governance principle. Next is develop practical governance tools like impact assessments, model cards, and audit protocols. Encourage collaboration across governments, industries, academia, and civil society. Create inclusive AI systems that serves diverse culture, language, and user needs. Support international efforts for harmonized AI standards and regulatory alignment. Invest in education, capacity building, and public awareness around ethical AI. Promote innovation through safe experimentation and regulatory sandbox. Monitor emerging risks and develop adaptive responses. The last step here is report progress on responsible AI adoption transparently to stakeholder and the public. I hope these checklists help you in your planning. With this, we have come to end of part 2. So as part of this Part 2 series. We have covered responsible AI adoption, life cycle approach, challenges, then we looked at the impact, followed by global collaboration and future roadmaps. We discussed the topic plus we went through the checklist so that helps in your planning, your strategies. Do share this with your teams so that they are on the same page as you are. And this video is made specifically for all the audience in the organization so that you don't have to invest time explaining it. Of course, you will have queries, concerns coming from your team members, but that can be taken up individually or can be customized based on your requirement. But this gives you the foundational information. So I hope this helped. Let me just thank you for staying with me for this two parts. We have one more part to go where we look at few other aspects of this space. So thanking you again. Your time is much appreciated. This is your host, Savit Vittal Salian. Let's see in part 2. Namaskaram.